over the years, there has been an understanding that there's a preset alliance on council. We have heard about the 5-2 or 4-3 councils. This implies that much of the business of the city and its citizens is predetermined by a backroom system. Do you feel this is in the best interest of our citizens, and what are your plans to break through these traditions and evaluate matters based on merit?
Thank you. You know, it's funny, I've been going to different places, and I remember one specific place that I went, they were very adamant in saying, so what are you? And I said, what do you mean? I'm running for council. And I said, no, but what are you? Like, how do you vote? And I kept saying, I'm running for a local race. This is supposed to be nonpartisan, right? What we are supposed to be is we're supposed to be advocating for the people of Denton, all people of Denton, regardless of what party affiliation. And so some people might say, oh, well, she has so-and-so support, or she has, so-and-so support, or I've seen her here, I've seen her there. That shouldn't matter. I think what we need to understand is that we need to be a voice for everyone, and that we should all be working together. Someone at that specific event, they said, I classify myself as a peacekeeper and as a solution seeker. And I said, you know what, I really like that, but I'm gonna go one step further, and I wanna be a bridge builder. I wanna be a bridge builder that we can all come together, we can talk, we can learn from each other. I like what Jill said. Brené Brown has this really amazing book. If she's an author, I forget if y'all have read her. But she talks about everybody hates everyone whenever they're far away. But whenever we're up and close, it's really hard to hate someone because their story is right here with you. We're more alike than we are unalike. And so if we can have a bridge where we can come together and learn, we're not always going to be on the same page. I've told everyone, I might surprise you. I might not vote a certain way, right? But my values are the same. My integrity is the same. The person that I am at the core is the same. And I want to be here to represent the people, not just for myself. This is not a stepping stool for me to go somewhere else. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jill Jester, place 6.
Jill Jester. Part of my job as an attorney is training to look at both sides of an issue and to be open to different arguments and to really sincerely look at them and study them before you make a decision. That, and I believe my experience as a certified mediator would help to make sure that all sides are being considered, looked at, and I absolutely pledge to you that I will have an open mind. Before this candidacy, I had never attended a political function for either party. I've always felt that Denton was my place because we're, in a way, a bunch of misfits and that we have all kinds that fit in here. And what I will tell you is I'm independent just like Denton. And I absolutely pledge to you to look at all sides of an issue before making the best decision for Denton. And that is what I will do. I had a meeting with someone who was talking about donating some money, and I said to them, I have to tell you, if you donate, you have to know that this does not mean that I will vote the way you want me to vote, that I will always vote in what I think is in the best interest of our entire community. And I agree with what my opponent said. We are neighbors, and that is why this is nonpartisan and should stay nonpartisan. We should be open to what's best for the community and not involve national or state issues that divide us. We should want to be together and make the best decisions for each other. And again, that's why I appreciate this opportunity. And I appreciate the types of things that we're hearing because I think it's vital to keeping this the small town feel that we all want, and the fact that we can all get along and discuss things in a way that preserves democracy. Thank you.
Thank you. Gerard, Hudspeth, Mayor, Incumbent.
Yeah, as I said in my opening comments, I am a little concerned about this very thing when it comes to a open seat. Again, I've been on council since 2017. I have a history, I have a record, and to challenge those records, that's fair. But in the specific instance of seat 6, there shouldn't be 4 sitting council members that are advocating for one person in advance of the people having their voice heard. That to me is problematic. It continues the strife and starts off with consternation. And that's unfortunate, but we'll work through that. I'll just say that you can use a number of different metrics to measure someone, but I like the fact that I have an Alfredo Sanchez in the last election that had a statement on the mailer for me as just as much as a developer, just as much as a parent, just as much as an administrator. So I try to bring all those voices to the table. I try to represent all of those interests well and align myself with the entire city and represent the city well. My biggest pride, opportunity in that was, and it goes back a little bit, but I think it's important. If you go back and watch the video from the auditor's position, the auditor that we have in place wasn't going to receive that job.
10 seconds.
It was a 6-1 vote. I was the one against the person that was going to get the job. That failed to work out, and so now we have the best auditor in the state of Texas. Thank you.
Okay, and Lucas Wedgeworth, running for mayor. And would you like me to reread the question?
Please.
Okay. Over the years, there has been an understanding that a preset alliance and council exists. We have heard about 5-2 or 4-3 councils. This implies that much of the business of the city or its citizens is predetermined by a backroom system. Do you feel this is in the best interest of our citizens? What are your plans to break through these traditions and evaluate matters based on merit?
Well, I think first and foremost, if you want to get a council that agrees, you should get council people that largely agree with each other. I think that a shared vision of what's important to working class families, middle class families, and preaching to those values should be what people are voting for. And if you're sitting at home watching this or in this audience right now, and you know, the people up here aren't speaking specifically to what you value and what makes your day-to-day life, you know, better, you know, you're missing out, because a unified vision is important, and it should be up front, and it should be said, you know, loudly and confidently. So when I hear things like backroom deals, there's no transparency there. We need people who express their ideas outwardly and openly to the public. We need people who are talking about improving our infrastructure, not just what we're building that's new, but what we're building that are improving what we've already built. We need people who have common goals and values that focus on reducing homelessness, hopefully to zero if we can do it, you know, improving traffic safety, improving, you know, people's lives day to day through affordable housing measures. Because what we're doing right now is just simply not enough. And I think that with the right people in place who value those community goals and those community needs, we'll find the sources and the bonding that we need. We might find that we have more in common with our neighbor down the street if we actually just focused on what everyday needs we have.
Thank you. And Aaron Garland, running for place 5. Over the years, there has been an understanding that a preset alliance on council exists. We have heard about 5-2 councils or 4-3 councils. This implies that much of the business of the city and its citizens is predetermined by a backroom system. Do you feel this is in the best interest of our citizens? What are your plans to break through these traditions and evaluate matters based on merit?
I've never heard that accusation, but it's, you know, to have a good council that to me, a good council is made up of individuals from different backgrounds. You need a source of good checks and balances on council. That's one of the things that makes Denton so great, is Denton is, you know, a quirky, artsy town full of all kinds of people from all different areas. And so that's one of the things that, you know, our city looks for, and that certainly shouldn't be any different on our council. So I think that as council, you should be able to count on our council should be able to listen, they should be consistent, they should vote in a way that's factual and not just based on feelings. It's certainly not making decisions based on any kind of political party or trying to appease a certain group. I think that our council needs to be diplomatic. It needs to look at not only the wants of our citizens in our city, but also its needs.
Thank you. Brandon Chase McGee, Incumbent, place 5.
Thank you. Ms. Garland says she hasn't heard of backroom deals. Do you know why? Because there's no such thing as a backroom deal. You know, the only time there is backroom dealing is the dinner break between our work session and our council meeting. And 5 of us regularly sit and we have lunch together, we have dinner together. You know what the dealing is? It's them educating me on the Beatles, because I'm not old enough to know the Beatles. And it's me teaching Councilmember Holland what on fleek means, right? That's the only backroom deal that happens on council. This is inherently a political question. We're talking about Republicans and Democrats, right? That's what we're talking about. Let's be honest about it. I'm very proud of who I am and the political party that I identify with. I don't run from that. I don't shy away from that. But I can also say that I'm the only current person on council, including the folks who are sitting here behind me, candidate or someone who's challenging, who can say that they enjoy support from Republicans, Democrats, and Independents. And if you don't believe me, go look at my finance report. Oftentimes people want to classify me as a liberal. The liberals sure don't think I'm liberal enough. I'm really thankful that I listen to a data scientist on council. I'm often thankful that I listen to the most experienced person we've ever had in Denton, Chris Watts, talk. There's no political backroom dealing. There are no alliances. I've often been called the swing vote. None of my colleagues do that. That's a misconception.
10 seconds.
Thank you.